I can now look back on many years in tennis and, of course, have coached many players. Although the level is increasing and the system doesn't make it any easier to get to the top, one rule always remains. Honest, consistent work is always rewarded. Sometimes you need a lot of patience and perseverance, but in the end you always get your reward. One of our players in particular stands out for me. More on that later in the video. The return trip from Mexico certainly increased the anticipation of tournaments in Europe in the near future. At 32 hours, it was a few more hours in an airplane or at airports in our lives. In Vienna, we were greeted by cool temperatures for the first few days. Not unusual at this time of year, but a little more pleasant temperatures wouldn't have been a bad thing. After all, Yuri Rodionov's switch to clay was planned, and therefore also to the outdoors. Yuri wanted to stay on hard court for as long as possible, but there are no alternatives in Europe now. At first, there was still a consideration for Yuri to play on hard court in Korea. But in view of the hardships of traveling in recent months, it is now better to stay in Europe. Yuri can also deliver the necessary results on clay. He has shown that in the past. Only last year things didn't go too well on clay. But that can certainly be changed again. I haven't seen Sebastian Sorger for a few weeks now, and he has put on muscle mass again, which is no surprise given the daily workload he is putting in at the moment. From Monday to Saturday he gets up at 5 a.m., starting his morning routine, and is in the gym for the first time after 6 a.m. After that he uses the time to study. He then goes back to the gym for a warm-up and his first practice session at 10 a.m. After 2 hours there's a lunch break, and at 2 p.m. another session for 2 hours on the court. Then, after another break, another visit to the gym or a run, depending on the program. Then dinner, study and free time. Sebastian's consistency is highly commendable and will be rewarded sooner or later, provided he keeps it up over a long period of time. He sometimes still has deficits in his understanding of the game, but my conversations with Sebastian show that, on the one hand, he's working intensively on this topic, and, on the other hand, he is willing to find out the important information in conversations in order to work with it for himself. Slava Belinsky is also showing signs of progress. He's a very agile player with a good understanding of the game. His mental balance is the most important criterion in competition. He makes a very good impression on me at the moment, and with this inner calm, his self-confidence should also become more stable in order to finish off important matches. Perhaps the most important part for his performance at the moment. For Yuri Rodionov, consistency is the important issue. He tends to lose concentration too quickly, and this also changes the quality of the physical aspects and stroke execution. Longer tennis sessions with lots of repetitions are certainly not Yuri's thing, but they are essential for his further development. Unfortunately, he too often has minor physical problems that force him to take breaks and disrupt the process. Now would be the opportunity for a short practice block. Unfortunately, Yuri still has problems with his stomach, and the start had to be postponed. Thank you for your interest, and see you in the next video.